Greetings and salutation. Hey, how's everyone doing? So, this time we're looking at the most recent, fully featured, film. Actually, no, it's a special. In this case, a Red Dwarf, The Promised Land. So, yeah, let's talk about it. So in this one, the Red Dwarf crew, including Dave, Arnold, the cat, and Crichton, face off against Rodan, leader of a band of feral cats who has pledged to unite all of those who do not worship him as their god. I have to give this out though, is in that I have watched this, show since, we have started this show, this Sci-Fi show talking about, programs and all that. And, in a way, I've grown to love the show. I really have. And, honestly, say, some of my best moments are, when Arnold, when he said, I do not admire and like crazy people and all that.
Is something amiss?
Amiss? God, no. What could possibly be amiss?
You don't think there's anything amiss? I'm sitting here wearing a red and white checked gingham dress and army boots. You think that's unamiss?
No, of course not. It's just we thought you'd gone nuts. We were trying to humor you.
I was just doing a little test. A little test to see if you'd gone crazy.
But I gotta say, this one has a lot of gags that are gonna stay with me when it comes to this episode. The sequence in which, Arnold becomes a diamond, I think. He becomes, he's able to upgrade, the percentage of light that he is to, projective light, since it's a hologram, to diamond, in which, he's able to go through rooms, go through walls, and all that.
I'm a superhero. I need a name. Glitter Guy. No, something better. The Mighty Light. I've never felt so powerful, so utterly amazed.
I thought this sequence was fairly funny. And actually kind of thought the beginning of the special, in which we have the introduction to our antagonist, I thought that was fairly well done. It gave you, okay, this is why he's not someone you want to mess with. At the same time, I thought it was very humorous.
Enter.
My feral king, I am sorry to interrupt your torturing.
A race, the feral cats who are, fighting back against others and all that. One of the things that also happened in this special is at one point on Red Dwarf, Holly Gallic, he's returned, but this time, he ends up, returning to a mode before he had, fallen to, into hypersleep with Dave, into everyone's Dave, and all that. So he's not really himself as of yet. So the gang is all they're trying to say, how do we get rid of him? I do love this sequence in which he's in another they're in another room, they're doing their work, because he realizes because they realize oh shit, we haven't done our work. So that they end up happening to do is they end up getting going through a room to talk about them, and miming him, but he can hear everything they say.
He may have an IQ of 6,000, but is he as smart as us when we put our heads together?
Not even close.
Look at him, the gormless gimp. Can't hear a word we say.
They say. And one of the reasons why this one's called The Promised Land, is in that, there's another group of cats that are trying to, fall, they, really like Dave, so they think he is their god and all that. I mean, then again, it kind of makes sense because in the very first episode, the original cat that Dave had created another cats and then made humanoid versions of them and all that. Yes, this episode has a lot of, when it comes to it, humorous elements about it. But at the same time, one thing I also think this episode does fairly well is its use of dramaticism. Because, we can all say, this is a comedy show, but at the same time, it's not a science fiction comedy show. It does have its, dramatic human elements. Whether it was a time when, Dave and Arnold, they're looking up at the sky and they're just talking to each other. Well, in this one, Arnold has, after his, time as being Diamond Light, through that course of special, he's having to use a battery pack to walk around and all that.
Wait for me!
What ends up happening is he's feeling depressed, he's feeling unneeded, unnecessary, and such. So he ends up just, unplugging for it, trying to, and then eventually, Dave is able to get him out of his stupor.
And the moon can't make moonlight without the sun. So who's making the moonlight?
They both are.
Which means that even though a moon cannot make light, moonlight exists. Like you, Smeghead.
And yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. The humor of it is, they all seem to be, they was say, yeah, this one's big. So they are doing their best. I really like the fact that also, I'm going to say that the poster is almost like, say, a call to Avengers, Infinity War with the poster. But this special came out in 2020, and at the same time, I also like the fact, during it at the beginning, they have, the usual classic Red Dwarf opening and such. Instead of just, say, hey, yeah, this is a big episode and such. And one thing ends up happening is, Dave, Holly's able to rescue them and all that. And, he's back to his goofy self, but, the cats...
Holly, why didn't you tell us the Ferals are on board? Were they holding you hostage?
No, I just forgot.
All going to say, there they are, and all that. But, eventually, they're able to, Crichton ends up getting hurt, but Arnold is able to go to Diamond Light again, so he ends up, able to save the day, and such. And yeah, I do kind of like there's a reference to the character of the, Cat's version of Dwayne Dibley, in which he's basically a giant nerd and all that. Yeah, I thought this one was, it was fun, it was humorous. At the same time, I'm going to say this, though, in that, I'm sure there's, a lot of folks, when it comes to shows and programs, they will always go to the newest thing. Yeah, I'm sure, say someone could, watch this and enjoy it. Yet at the same time, I'm honestly say, perhaps, they go, say, yeah, okay, that's funny. But at the same time, I feel say, some folks are gonna say, what's this callback? And,
God, I can speak again.
I'm a god. This is going to look so good on the old CV.
Why is Arnold all, so sad and all that such? But, yeah, I thought this one was fairly memorable. See you next time.